To another poetry deep dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poemhunter website. Denis Martindale has written a new poem called Iron Man, and here's what the poem's message shares with us today.
Okay, can we just pause for a second? Let's dive right into this, because that number is literally staggering. 3,700 poems. I mean, it takes immense dedication and just a profound creative well to produce that volume of work. It's exactly what makes Denis Martindale such a fascinating voice on the Poemhunter platform. And today, we're focusing on a brand new release from him, dated May 11, 2026. He's turning his poetic lens onto a modern mythology, the superhero, specifically the invincible Iron Man. And what he does here is truly remarkable. He doesn't just, describe comic book action. He dissects the very nature of what makes a hero tick.
Section 1. The Billionaire Patriot.
So let's start by looking at our thematic character arc. Every great explainer, and honestly, every great poem needs a compelling starting point, right? Martindale sets the stage by highlighting the stark contrast, pun absolutely intended, between how the world perceives Tony Stark and who he truly is beneath the surface. It's that classic tale of public persona versus private reality. To a lot of people in his world, Tony Stark is just a guy in a fancy suit. He's seen as a playboy, a party dude, a rich man who raises hell but isn't much else. But beneath all that flash, his true identity is a patriot. A hero, literally one in a billion. And Martindale notes that Stark makes it his absolute mission to prove those detractors wrong, using his resources not just for self-indulgence, but for global protection.
And this brilliantly illustrates that exact dichotomy right in the poem's opening lines. Tony Stark was a billionaire, a patriot as well. While Iron Man had cash to spare, he often raised pure hell. Martindale immediately establishes the dual nature of his subject here. We've got the immense wealth and that wild, unpredictable streak, raising pure hell, sitting right alongside the word patriot. It tells us right out of the gate that we're dealing with a complex, multidimensional character, definitely not some one-note caricature.
Let's look at the next lines. But once the hero, he began to set a brand new path. He was much more than Iron Man, not doing things by half. This stanza is absolutely crucial. It signals his transformation. Notice that phrase, set a brand new path. It means he didn't just casually throw on a metal suit, he fundamentally changed his entire life's trajectory. And not doing things by half, that perfectly captures the obsessive, all-in commitment that really defines him. He fully commits to the hero's journey, dedicating every single ounce of his energy and resources to it.
Section 2. Power of the Mind.
Now, this brings us to a major turning point in Martindale's analysis. We're shifting the focus entirely away from the shiny physical armor. As cool as that armor is, his actual superpower, it's his staggering intellect. The crucial point is summarized perfectly here. The Avengers don't just rely on hand-to-hand combat. I mean, if they did, they'd just be brawlers. What sets them apart, and what sets Tony Stark apart, is that incredibly intelligent mind. The source text explicitly highlights his reliance on computers to test amazing theories. This intellectual foundation elevates the whole team's capabilities from mere physical force to pure strategic brilliance.
Just look at how Martindale phrases this. Computing power came to bear. Solutions came each day. A better suit that he could wear. Better in every way. This describes a loop of constant, relentless iteration. He doesn't just invent something once and call it a day. His intellect drives him to analyze, compute, and design better iterations, literally giving him the power to fly across the sky. The poetry itself actually mirrors the technological process here, steady, rhythmic, and always improving.
Thanks to his superpowered brain, oh man, I absolutely love that line. The poet deliberately uses the phrase superpowered brain to validate that Tony's mind is as heroic as any physical strength possessed by his teammates. He isn't just a rich guy funding the operation, right? He's the intellectual engine. His answers guide the team. The wonders he creates aren't just for him. They're supreme solutions that benefit everyone around him.
Section 3. Leading the Avengers. So that superpowered brain translates into an incredibly dynamic leadership role among Earth's mightiest heroes. He is definitely not a passive member. First off, he literally funds the team. Second, he actively improves everyone around him. Third, he shows the courage to see things through, that grit required to actually finish the job. Fourth, he constantly challenges their thoughts, making sure they never get complacent. And finally, he guides them with answers. This right here is the true anatomy of his comprehensive backing of the entire roster.
Let's see how the poem captures this specific leadership style. To challenge every thought they had. Is that all that you've got? He's sometimes good, he's sometimes bad, and yet he cares a lot. This couplet is so revealing. It shows a very complex, sometimes abrasive style of leadership. He pushes his teammates hard, sometimes blurring those lines of good and bad behavior in his relentless pursuit of excellence. But the grounding truth, the real anchor of his character, is in that final line, and yet he cares a lot. His provocation comes from a place of deep, deep devotion to the team and their mission.
Section 4. The Iron Legacy.
As we move into the culmination of Stark's character arc, we're going to explore how the poem summarizes his unique, totally irreplaceable place in the world. Now, Martindale uses a very specific, fascinating word here, aristocrat. Let's playfully define how he's using it. Normally we hear that and think of inherited wealth or old social classes, but in this context, it means someone exhibiting a rare nobility of intellect and heroic action. Like the poem says, he isn't just one in a million. He transcends that whole cliché. He is one in a billion. A true aristocrat of the mind and of courage.
And this is the result of that legacy. While many folks look up to him as he goes flying by, his enemies, of course, look grim. No need to ask them why. The contrast in this imagery is just wonderful. You have the everyday folks looking up with hope and awe, literally watching their protector fly above them. And then you have the grim dread of his adversaries. And yeah, you really don't need to ask why they look grim. His track record pretty much speaks for itself.
Which brings us to the poem's triumphant final thesis. He fights to win and seldom fails. One brain, one suit, one plan. As strong as steel, as tough as nails. That's why he's Iron Man. I really want you to pay close attention to the order in that second phrase. One brain, one suit, one plan. Notice how the brain is listed first. Before the high-tech suit, before the tactical plan, it is the mind that comes first. It is the absolute core of who he is.
So, as we wrap up this poetry explainer of Denis Martindale's fantastic work, I want to leave you with this question to ponder. Is Iron Man's greatest weapon his suit of armor, or the human mind inside it? I think the poem makes a pretty compelling case for the latter, showing us that true invincibility doesn't come from metal, but from the relentless, superpowered intellect that drives the hero forward. Think about that the next time you see him flying by. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.